Scott, it's been a couple years since we've had you on here with us on the Crimson Tide Sports Network, but hope you and the dogs are doing well as we get ready for what should be a great game on Saturday.
Yeah, everybody on this end is certainly looking forward to it. It's been another wonderful season of football, and here we are getting down to the end of things. And I think this is the game that probably most folks expected in this league anyway is Georgia and Alabama. So we'll get it on Saturday. It's going to be a lot of fun.
It certainly will be. Again, the Bulldogs, winners of the last two national championships, and this group in 2023, with all of that, around this program, the long winning streak, the back-to-back national titles. Just take us through the journey of this team and how they've kind of made it their own this season compared to what we've seen the last couple of years.
Well, the comparisons are always there. Everybody wants to compare this team to the first team in the championship, and the coaching staff and the players kind of push back against that because mostly it's a new roster. You got a new quarterback, you've got some new coaches on the staff, so there's different personalities and personnel in place, but the results have been the same. For however Georgia has discovered what the magic sauce is, they continue to consume it and apply it. And I think it just goes back to the culture. That sounds so cliche, and I hate to use it, but it's true. The culture of the program and what Kirby Smart ingrains in these players when they come here. They know what the rules are. They know how this team is going to play, and the results have been there for Georgia for the last 3 years. I mean, they haven't lost a game since the SEC championship game to Alabama in 21. So there's a lot of winning between now and then. But this was a team that had to find its identity early on with the new quarterback. There were question marks there. Can Carson, pick up the ball, figuratively and go with it? And he has, and he's had a tremendous season. And they really haven't missed a beat at quarterback from Stetson Bennett's performance last year to Carson's this year. They fought through injuries. It's been a next man up kind of thing. So this team is recruited very well. They have depth at most positions. And even when they've had injuries to frontline guys, they haven't really missed a beat in most games. So it's hard for me, from the outside looking in, it's hard to diagram how this team has gotten to this point. I just know they have, and it's fun to watch a team that wins all the time. I know that.
Absolutely. And looking at the quarterback position with Carson Beck, just when he's played at his best this season, what do you notice out of him?
Just a confidence. I mean, he's not an overly emotional guy. He reacts a little bit. Maybe more in private settings. I don't know. Maybe he really cuts loose when the cameras and the microphones aren't watching him all the time. But he's just he's very methodical, I guess is a good way to describe it. He knows the offense inside and out. He's been in the program for a long time, so he certainly knows what to do. He's got a good relationship with the offensive coordinator. They seem to be in sync. So Carson really knows how to distribute the football. He's had a great year passing the ball. He's got a high percentage. He hasn't made too many mistakes. He hasn't thrown a ton of interceptions. He's what you would want, that quarterback at a Division I school. I mean, coaches have an extreme amount of confidence in him, and he's parlayed that into a wonderful season and probably a career at the next level. So he's quiet. He's not a braggadocious me guy, which is nice to see in this time and era of college football. But he's just been super effective, and hopefully he's got a few more games left in him.
Well, he's got a lot of talented players around him, especially guys who have been banged up in the last few weeks. Kind of as we talk early in the week, what's the latest on the status of Brock Bowers, Lad McConkey, and Ra Thomas, guys like that?
Well, it's the information that we get is well, they're day to day or they're week to week or it's a game time decision. So that's about all I can tell you at this point. I have a feeling, if those guys are able to play, they will play. That's kind of the word that we usually get. I think Brock was ready to go last week. He went through warmups. He dressed and went through warmups against Georgia Tech and all of that, but then did not play. He was on the sidelines for the whole game in uniform. McConkey did not dress, so I think they knew going in that he wasn't going to be good for that game last week. And Lad's been hurt. I think he's missed now five games this year. Bowers has missed three. We had an offensive lineman out last week that was key, and Tate Ratledge. They've compiled a pretty good list of missed games from frontline guys. We're without our middle linebacker and Jamon Dumas Johnson, and he's not expected to be back. He broke his forearm against Ole Miss, so he's been out. And Thomas is we don't get a lot of information on him. Ra hurt his foot. I think it was in the Tennessee game. Not sure what his status is either. But if those guys are ready and they're cleared by medical, and they're good to go, they'll play. That's kind of so we have to watch. Pregame. All right, so and so's dressed. He's in uniform. He might have a shot at it, but you don't know until the game starts and they actually are in the game. So that's the best I can do for you right now.
Well, on the other side of the ball, what's the strength of this Georgia defense?
Well, I would say the secondary, and the way Bullard, and that's another guy who's been hurt and missed a couple of games this season, but he's healthy and playing very well right now. Malachi Starks, he's a first round pick more than likely. Tyke Smith, our nickelback, is having a tremendous season. And then Smile Munden's one of the linebackers. Those four guys are probably playing better or as good as anybody on defense in the country. I mean, they've really had nice seasons. Defensive line, I think, was a question coming into this year, just because you didn't have the Jalen Carter, or you didn't have the Jordan Davis or the Devontae Wyatt. You didn't have that breakdown guy. It was by committee, and the committee's held up pretty good. It's not a bad group. They rotate a lot of guys in, like many teams do now, but the group that they've compiled has done a nice job. But to answer your question, the strength, and it's a good group as a whole, but I think the secondary is probably my position group is the strongest on defense.
And I know you've been keeping up with the Crimson Tide some throughout the season. Just what kind of ball game do you expect coming up on Saturday in Atlanta?
Oh, maybe typical Georgia, Alabama. I don't know, something that's going to go down to the wire. Both teams will deliver blows, and maybe whoever plays the better defense will be on top at the end of this. I know Georgia has a lot of concerns about Jalen Milroe's game and how he's developed from September to now. I mean, he's playing at a high level, and he's a hard guy to contain, and that's on the plate for Georgia this week. That they really feel they have to contain him, keep him in the pocket, and don't let him run around and make plays like Auburn found out last week. So that's the big concern there, and I'm sure Auburn or Alabama has similar concerns about Georgia's offense. How many weapons can they shut down? And if, going back to what we were talking about earlier, if those guys play, it brings a different level of ability to the game. If Bowers is on the field, or if McConkey's on the field, all those guys that have been hurt. But I would expect something to go right down to the fourth quarter. For radio purposes and thrilling entertainment, that's what I'm hoping for. So maybe we'll get another one of those knockdown dragouts.
I can certainly see it. Well, Scott Howard, thank you so much for your time giving us a scouting report on the Georgia Bulldogs. We look forward to seeing you on Saturday in Atlanta. Thank you for your time.
Thanks, Roger. You bet. Anytime.